The sun rose gently over the small rural village, painting the sky in soft shades of orange and gold. In a tiny mud house at the edge of the village lived a young boy named Daniel. Daniel's life was simple, but not easy. Every morning he woke up before the birds finished their songs. His feet, often bare, touched the cold earth as he stepped outside to fetch water from a river nearly 2 kilometers away. Breakfast, when it existed, was usually leftover porridge. Some days there was nothing at all. But Daniel never complained. His parents worked tirelessly. His father in a small farm, his mother selling vegetables by the roadside. They had little, but they gave him something priceless: hope. Education, his mother would say, gently holding his shoulders, is the one thing no one can take from you. Daniel believed her. School was not guaranteed for Daniel. It was a privilege he fought for. His uniform was faded and torn. His books were shared. Sometimes he walked long distances, only to be sent home because fees hadn't been paid. Still, he kept going. He sat at the front of the class, eyes wide, absorbing every word like it was life itself. He studied under a kerosene lamp at night, swatting mosquitoes, refusing to give up. Other children laughed at him. "Why are you trying so hard?" they would mock. "People like us don't become anything." Daniel never answered them. But deep inside, a quiet voice whispered, "I will become something." At just 10 years old, Daniel's world shattered. His father fell ill first, then his mother. Within months, both were gone. The small house that once held warmth now felt unbearably silent. Daniel sat alone one evening, staring at the cracked walls, holding his mother's last words close to his heart. "Don't stop, no matter what happens." But how could he not stop? There was no money, no parents, no direction. He became an orphan overnight. Life became about survival. Daniel moved in with a distant relative where kindness was scarce and expectations were high. He worked long hours, fetching water, farming, doing chores, just to earn a place to sleep. School, it almost slipped away completely. But Daniel refused to let it go. He would sneak time to read. Sometimes he studied while others slept. Other times he wrote notes in the dust with a stick when he had no paper. Hunger became normal. Pain became familiar. But quitting? That was never an option. One day, everything shifted, just a little. A teacher noticed Daniel's persistence. "You remind me of someone who refuses to be defeated," the teacher said. "There's a scholarship program. It's not easy to get in, but I think you should try." Daniel didn't hesitate. He studied harder than ever before. He poured his pain into purpose. Every sleepless night became fuel. And when the results came, he got in. It wasn't just a scholarship. It was a doorway. Secondary school was a whole new world. Students came from better backgrounds. They had resources Daniel had never seen before. At first, he felt small.
But then he remembered where he came from. And suddenly, he realized something powerful. He had something they didn't. Resilience. Daniel didn't just study. He excelled. He took every opportunity, asked every question, and pushed himself beyond limits. Failure came sometimes, but it never stayed. Because Daniel had learned something most people never do. Pain can either break you or build you. After finishing school, reality hit again. There was no job waiting, no family support, no capital. Just a young man with a dream. Daniel started small, very small. He began selling fruits by the roadside. Some days he made a profit, other days he didn't. People still doubted him. "This is all you'll ever be," they said.
But Daniel had learned not to listen to noise. He saved every coin. He observed. He learned. And slowly, he grew. Years passed. The boy who once walked barefoot now walked with purpose. Daniel expanded from selling fruits to owning a small shop, then another, then another. He studied business through books, mentors, and experience. He made mistakes, but he learned from every single one. His mindset changed. He no longer saw obstacles. He saw opportunities. And one day, something incredible happened. Daniel became the owner of a successful company. Standing in front of a large building with his company name on it, Daniel paused. Tears filled his eyes, not because of success, but because of the journey. He remembered the dusty roads, the hunger, the pain, the loneliness, and he remembered his mother's voice. "Don't stop, no matter what happens." He hadn't, and it changed everything. Daniel now spends time speaking to young people, especially those who feel forgotten, limited, or broken by life. And his message is always simple. Where you start does not define where you finish. You may not have everything, but if you have determination, you have enough. Pain is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of your strength. This story is not just about Daniel. It's about every young person who feels like life is unfair. Every child who walks to school without shoes. Every dreamer who has been told, "You can't." Listen carefully. You can. Not easily, not quickly, but powerfully. Because greatness is not born in comfort. It is built in struggle. And just like Daniel, you are capable of rising.